track is now clear at the skeleton start for our first of 3 4-runner sleds.
Start.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. This is a 10-minute warning. 10-minute warning to our first competitive sled. It's going to be Linwei Peng. 10-minute warning. Also a 30-minute warning to the close of the women's Park for May. All sled work must be completed by 10:30. Want to welcome all the guests of the Utah Olympic Park. It is race day here in Park City, Utah. We've got our first of 3 4-runner sleds in the track. Currently exiting that curve 11. We're going to have the 3 4-runners, then we're going to start with the men's skeleton race. There's going to be 32 competitors for the first heat. The men's skeleton, it's North America's Cup race number 4. We're just out about 10 minutes till that race starts. That's the first 4-runner crossing the finish line. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our second of 3 4-runners.
Start.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. It's our second 4-runner in the track. Athletes, just a few reminders. There's a 30-second ice box for this first heat. 30-second ice box. Also, we've got a fast run out today. Fast run out, so brake early and brake hard. Second 4-runner crossing the finish line. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our third and final 4-runner. Sledding track from the skeleton start. This is our third and final forerunner. This is going to be a 5-minute warning. 5-minute warning to our first competitive sled. Lin Wei Peng, Chinese Taipei. 5-minute warning. Attention spectators trackside. Best place to spectate is going to be at the top of the lower loop. Curve 12, we've got all the shades open for spectating in Curve 12. We do ask that you refrain from standing on, climbing over, or leaning under any fence, barricade, or shade that surrounds the track. There is no throwing objects at or around the track. The metal grates and wooden decks that surround the track are for coaches and athletes only. No spectating on the metal grates or wooden decks that surround the track. Most importantly, never enter the track surface for any reason. That's for your safety and the safety of our athletes. Enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. That was the third forerunner crossing the finish line. Two-minute warning for Lin Wei Peng, Chinese Taipei. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Lin Wei Peng, Chinese Taipei. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Hiroatsu Takahashi, stand by please. We are racing Heat 1 Men's Skeleton Race number 4, North America's Cup. First on the ice, Linwei Peng. Start time was a 4.83. He's the first of 32 sliders for this first heat. Linwei Peng looking to set a high bar into the labyrinth, 81.3 miles an hour. He's bringing it through the 10-11 straightaway. Great line so far. Coming out of curve 11, drops his right foot. Excellent line through the Olympic curve, curve 12, now into Dinger. What kind of speed does he have at the exit of 14? 79 miles an hour. 79 miles an hour, he's going to cross the finish line, 49.52. 49.52. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Hiroatsu Takahashi, Japan. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Jonathan Yaw, stand by please. On the ice, Hiroatsu Takahashi, representing Japan. Start time was a 4.75. That puts him 14 hundredths ahead of the pace as he heads through Sunny. Good line through Cutthroat, now entering curve 6. As he comes out of curve 6, he's going to cross our speed trap, 81.5 miles an hour. Still holding on to that lead. He's 16 hundredths ahead of the pace through the 10-11 straightaway. Can't make any mistakes in the lower loop if he wants to take over that top spot. He's currently 1/10 ahead of the pace as he exits curve 14. Ooh, it's going to be close. They're now neck and neck as he goes through low point. Going to cross the finish line with a 49.72. 49.72 puts him in second place at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Jonathan Yaw, Malaysia. From the skeleton start. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Eduardo Strapason, stand by please. Sliding for Malaysia, we've got Jonathan Yaw on the ice. Start time, 4.85. 4.85, he's 2 hundredths behind the pace. Gonna need to find some speed coming out of Sunny. Good line through Cutthroat. He's now neck and neck with our current leader, Linwei Peng. Crossing the speed trap, 81.6 miles an hour. That puts him up 100th of a second. Going through the 10-11 straightaway, he hugs sliders right into the Olympic curve. He's losing speed coming out of curve 13. He's now 5 hundredths behind the pace. Where is he going to land in the standings? Climbing our final curve, curve 15. Going to cross the finish line, 49.72. That ties for second position. Jonathan Yaw, 49.72. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Eduardo Strapason. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Jared Firestone, stand by, please. Representing Brazil, we've got Eduardo Strapison on the ice. Start time, 4:94. 4:94 as he heads through 1, 2, 3. Now entering Sunny. Good line out of Sunny into Cutthroat. He's back about 0.2 of a second as he comes through that curve 6 into curve 7. Brushes that wall into the labyrinth, 81 miles an hour through the 10-11 straightaway. Ooh, que linha beleza. Coming out of curve 11 into the Olympic curve. Back about 0.5 of a second. Comes out of curve 14, still holding on to 77.7 miles an hour as he crosses the finish line with a 50.21. 50.21 puts him in 4th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Jared Firestone, Israel.
The skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. You, Chinook, stand by, please. On the ice, Jared Firestone, start time was a 4.80. He's ahead of the pace by 0.06 of a second. Let's see if he can hold on to all that momentum and speed as he crosses our speed trap at a curve 7. 81.4 miles an hour. Still up 0.09, now a 1/10 of a second through that 10-11 straightaway. A little high out of 11, but it's a good line out of 12. 0.05 now ahead of the pace as he enters curve 14. Now 200ths ahead of the pace. Will that be enough to take over that top spot? He crosses the finish line. It's enough. 49.49. We have a new leader, Jared Firestone, 49.49. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for you, Chinook, Korea. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Lucas Defiet, stand by, please. On the ice, we've got another Korean slider, Yu Chanook. Start time was a 4.73. He's ahead of the pace by 1/10 of a second as he heads through Cutthroat. Into Snowy. Out a little late, puts him right into the wall. 80.2 miles an hour top speed. He's going pretty fast through the labyrinth. We'll see where he ends up in the standings. 0.05 behind the pace at a curve 13. If he wants to take over one of those top spots, he needs some speed through these final two curves. On the wall at the exit of curve 15, he crosses the finish line 49.65. 49.65, it's good enough for third. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Lucas Defiet, France.
From the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Nicholas Timmings, stand by, please. On the ice, representing France, we have Lucas Defiet. Start time, 4.78. 4.78. He's ahead of the pace by 0.04 of a second, coming out of curve 4. Good line through Cutthroat into curve 6. Entering the labyrinth, 81.9, call it 82 miles an hour. He's got a 1,300th second lead through those labyrinth curves. Nicholas Timmings took home the first place in race 3 yesterday. Looks like he's going to set another good run. He's currently ahead of the pace 1,700ths as he crosses the finish line. 49.31. 49.31. New leader. New leader, Lucas DeFiat. 49.31. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Nicholas Timmings, Australia.
Track from the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Adrian Rodriguez, stand by please. In the track, representing Australia, Nicholas Timmings. Nicholas took first in yesterday's race. Start time was a 4.81. That puts him behind the pace 0.05 of a second. As he makes his way through 3, 4, 5, now into 6. 0.08 behind the pace. As he enters the labyrinth, 82.1 miles an hour. This might be the fastest sled we've seen so far today. Good line through 12 into 13. Now he's neck and neck with our current leader, Lucas DeFiat. Going through low point, he's gained 1,100. Going to cross the finish line with a 49.20. 49.20. We've got a new leader, Nicholas Timmings, 49.20. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Adrian Rodriguez, Spain.
From the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Joseph Brusik, stand by please. On the ice, representing España, Adrian Rodriguez, start time 4.78. 4.78 puts him behind the pace only 0.02 of a second. Going to need to hold on to all that momentum, gain some speed as he enters the labyrinth curves. Good line out of 6 into 7. Top speed 79.3 miles an hour. 0.4 behind the pace coming out of curve 11. Into the Olympic curve. That's curve 12. Now 0.7 behind the pace. Where's that going to put him in the standings? Coming out of curve 14, still going 76.5 miles an hour. He's going to cross the finish line with a 50.41. 54.1. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Joseph Brusik, Canada. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Shin Yeonsu, stand by please. On the ice, representing Canada, Joseph Brusik. Start time was a 4.67. 4.67, that's the fastest start time so far in Heat 1. Had a little bit of trouble in Curve 1, rubbing that sliders right. We'll see how that affects him. He's still ahead of the pace by 0.09 as he enters the labyrinth at 81.1 miles an hour. right down the middle through that 10-11 straightaway. Curve 11 can be a more technical curve, but he navigates it expertly as he comes out of curve 12 now. He's 400ths behind the pace. What's the speed out of 14? 76.7 miles an hour. Not going to be enough for first. Let's see where he falls. Fifth place. Fifth place at this time, Joseph Brusick, 49.56. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Shin Yeon-soo. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Baden Park, stand by please. Representing Korea, we've got Shin Yeon-soo in the track. Start time 4.86. 4.86 as he heads into curve 3. That puts him back about 800ths of a second as he comes out of curve 4. Good line through Cutthroat, back now 1100ths. As he comes out of curve 6 into 7, he hits our speed trap at 80.8 miles an hour. Good line into 10-11, dropping his foot, his left foot to set himself up perfectly for an entrance into curve 11. Good lines through 12, 13. Now coming out of 14 at 78.3 miles an hour. He's back 0.5 of a second as he crosses the finish line. 49.72. 49.72. Ooh, it's a three-way tie with Hiratsu Takahashi and Jonathan Ya for 7th. 49.72. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Baden Park, United States of America. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Peter McCready's, stand by please. Representing the United States of America, we have Baden Park on the ice. Start time 4.96. 4.96, he's back a quarter second. Coming out of curve 3. This is home track for Baden Park. Good line through Cutthroat. He enters curve 6 behind the pace by 0.3. The time to beat's the 49.20. That was Nick Timmings. 49.20 is the time to beat. Baden Park, top speed, 81 miles an hour. He hits that lower loop. Good line through 13. Coming out of 14, he's still going 78 miles an hour. Crossing the finish line, Baden Park, 50.05, puts him in 10th at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Peter McCready's, Australia.
Sled and track.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Hayato Kawano, stand by please. On the ice, representing Australia, we've got Peter McCready's. Start time 4.86 seconds. Good line through the 3-4 straightaway. He's 1/1200ths behind the pace. 1/1200ths behind the pace as he goes through Cutthroat into Snowy. Good exit out of Snowy. Maybe dropping a toe just a little bit to set himself up for the Labyrinth curves. 81 mile an hour top speed. 0.3 behind the pace out of curve 11. Coming up to the Olympic curve, curve 12, during the 2002 Olympic Games. The Olympic rings were embedded in the ice there in curve 12. Climbing the final curve of the track, we've got Peter McCready's crossing the finish line, 49.96. 10th place at this time, Peter McCready's. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Hayato Kawano, Japan.
Track, sled and track from the skeleton start.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Taido Nagao. Oh, stand by, please. On the ice, representing Japan, Hayato Kawano, start time 4.78. 4.78. He's neck and neck with our current leader as he exits curve 5. And now back 500ths out of curve 6. Get across our speed trap at 81.3 miles an hour as he enters the labyrinth curves. Brush and sliders left through that 10-11 straightaway. It's all under control by the exit as he heads into curve 13. Dinger. Good line through 14, 77.2 miles an hour. 0.6 behind the pace. Going to cross the finish line 49.93. Puts him in 10th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Taido Nagao, Japan. Sled and track from the skeleton start. A quasi frimpong. Stand by, please. On the ice, another Japanese slider. Taido Nagao. Start time 4.79. 4.79. He's currently ahead of the pace by 0.03 as he heads through curve 4. Let's see if he can hold on to that lead. As he goes through curve 6, he's now neck and neck with our current leader, Nicholas Timmings. 81.7 miles an hour through that 10-11 straightaway. Maybe a small brush, sliders right there at the entrance of curve 11. 0.13 behind the pace coming out of curve 13. A slingshot, 76.9 miles an hour. Going to climb that final curve, crossing the finish line with a 49.82. 49.82 puts him in 10th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for a quasi frimpong, Ghana.
From the skeleton start.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Song Young Min, stand by, please. On the ice, representing Ghana, we have a quasi frimpong. Start time 4.91. 4.91 as he enters curve 3. That puts him back about 0.2 of a second as he hits Sunny. Good line through cutthroat. Get across our speed trap here at the exit of curve 6. Nice line into Labyrinth, 79.6 miles an hour. Good line through the 10-11 straightaway. As he exits that curve 11, he's back almost a second. Good lines through 12, 13. Through low point. That's the long straightaway at the bottom of the lower loop. Coming up our final curve, Uinta. Crossing the finish line, 59.8, 59.8. track is now clear at the skeleton start for Song Young-min, Korea.
From the skeleton start.
Sledding track from the skeleton start. Sebastian Rainier, stand by please. Representing Korea, we've got Sung Young-min in the track. Start time, 4:72. That's a fast start time. 4:72 puts him up a tenth of a second as he enters snowy curve 6. Let's see if he can hold on to that lead. 81.2 miles an hour. He's fallen back now 300ths. 300ths behind our current leader. Hit right, then left at a curve 11. That's going to affect his downtime. Where's that going to put him in the standings? Coming out of curve 14, he's still going 76.3 miles an hour. Few taps early on. Okay, 50.24 seconds. 52.4, that puts him in 15th. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sebastian Rainier, Canada. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Kevin Heng Lee, stand by please. On the ice, representing the Great White North, Canada, we've got Sebastian Rainier. Start time 4:86. 4:86 as he heads through curve 3. He's behind the pace 1300. It's going to need to find some speed as he comes out of curve 5. Good line through 6, 1700s behind the pace. Top speed 81 miles an hour. 81 miles an hour into the labyrinth. Russian sliders left. Maybe just barely keeping it off the wall through that 10-11 straightaway. 5/10 behind the pace out of 13. He's lost a lot of speed, 72 miles an hour out of 14. Going to cross the finish line with a 50.40. 50.40 seconds. That puts him in 16th place at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Kevin Heng Lee, Chinese Taipei. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Oren Milstein, stand by please. On the ice, representing Chinese Taipei, we've got Kevin Heng Lee. Start time was a 4.87 seconds. He's behind the pace, 1/10, maybe a little early into curve 4. We'll see if that affects his downtime. He's back now 2/10, coming through Snowy. Good line out of Snowy into curve 7. A little high out of 7, 80.3 miles an hour. Dragging both feet through the 10-11 straightaway, back now 5/10 of a second. Good line going through 12 into 13. What's the speed out of 14? 75 miles an hour. He's back just over a second. He's going to cross the finish line 50.59. 50.59 seconds. Puts him in 18th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Oren Milstein, Israel.
track from the skeleton.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Sam Allred, stand by please. On the ice, representing Israel, Oren Milstein. Start time 5.05 seconds. That puts him back 0.4 of a second off the start. Only the top 25 sliders from the first heat will get a chance at a second run in Heat 2. Oren Milstein making his way down through the labyrinth, 80 miles an hour. 80 miles an hour as he comes out of curve 11. A little late out of 11. Puts him into the wall. Sliders left before curve 12. He's got both feet in the air out of curve 13. Still going 75 miles an hour. Out of curve 14, he's going to climb that final curve, crossing the finish line with a 51.24. 51.24.
Clear the track.
The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sam Allred, United States of America.
From the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Massimo Artisoni, stand by please. On the ice, representing the United States of America, we have Sam Allred with a start time of 4.79 seconds. He's back 0.04 of a second. 0.04 of a second as he goes through 4, 5, now into snowy curve 6. Great exit out of 6, but he's back 0.2 of a second. 80.1 miles an hour. Not quite as much speed as our current leaders were able to find. The time to beat is the 49.20. Nicholas Timmings is the current leader. 49.20 is the time to beat. Sam Allred, he's back about a second behind that pace. Crossing the finish line, 50.55 seconds. That puts him in the 18th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Massimo Artisoni. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Andrew Pitterbeski, stand by please. On the ice, representing Canada, Massimo Artisoni. Start time 4.71. Fast start time 4.71. See if he can hold on to all that momentum. He brushes sliders right out of curve 3, then again out of curve 4. 900ths behind the pace now. As he comes out of curve 6, he scrubbed a lot of speed, brushing those short walls. 78.9 miles an hour as he enters the 10-11 straightaway. Excellent line through the 10-11 straightaway, maybe a little late out of curve 11. Coming through 12. Now Dinger, 13. He passes through our speed trap exit of curve 14 at 74 miles an hour. Crossing the finish line, 51.09. 51.09 puts him in the 21st position at this time. Track is now clear at the skeleton start for Andrew Pitterbeski, Canada. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Tony Fernals, stand by please. In the track, representing Canada, we've got Andrew Peterbeski. Start time 4.94 seconds. As he makes his way into curve 4. Brushing that sliders right into curve 4. He's got a great exit out of cutthroat into curve 6. He's back about 0.6 of a second at this time. Attention spectators trackside, we've currently got that sled in the track, and we will be sending sleds throughout the remainder of the day. This is North America's Cup Race 4. We're in Heat 1, men's race. Just a few safety reminders. We ask that you do not stand on, climb over, or lean under any fence, barricade, or shade that surrounds the track. The wooden decks and metal grates that surround the track are for coaches and athletes only. There should be no spectators on those wooden decks or metal grates that surround the track. Best place to spectate is curve 12. Got all the shades open in curve 12 for spectating. Enjoy your time here at the Utah Olympic Park. Andrew Peterbeski, downtime 52.13 seconds. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Tony Fernals, United States of America. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Noah Park, stand by please. Representing the United States of America, we've got Tony Fernals in the track. Start time 4.85 seconds. As he makes his way through 1, 2, 3. Good line through the 3-4 straightaway. This comes out of curve 4, right where you want to be. He's quarter second behind the pace. Out of curve 6, what's the speed out of 7? 79.2 miles an hour. Looking to get into the top 25, get his second run today. Tony Fernals comes through curve 13. Second and a half behind the pace through low point. Get across the finish line with a 51.19. 51.19, 24th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Noah Park, United States of America.
Sledding track from the skeleton start.
Sledding track from the skeleton start. David Morales, stand by please. On the ice, Noah Park, representing the United States of America. Start time was a 5.16. 5.16. Noah Park, top speed 79.3 miles an hour as he exits curve 11. Good line through the Olympic curve, curve 12. It's back about a second and a half as he exits curve 14. Good line up through low point. Get across the finish line with a 51.50. 51.50. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for David Morales, Mexico. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Jeff Bauer, stand by please. We've got David Morales on the track, representing Mexico. There's no rule that says when you have to load on the sled. David Morales enters curve 3. His start time was a 6.67. 6.67. So he comes out of curve 4. On the ice, David Morales, as he climbs our final curve of the track, going to have a downtime of 1 minute, 0.90 seconds. 60.90 seconds. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Jeff Bauer, Luxembourg. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Andy Chilino, stand by please. On the ice representing Luxembourg, we've got Jeff Bauer. Start time 5:29. 5:29 puts him back about 7/10 off the start. He's got a good line coming out of curve 4. 9/10 behind the pace out of curve 6. He brushes that wall, sliders right into 7. That'll affect his top speed, which is a 78.9, call it 79 miles an hour. Through that 10-11 straightaway, coming out of curve 11 now. Good line through the Olympic curve. Now out of Dinger, 13. Right down the middle through the low point. Going to cross the finish line with a 51.29. 51.29 puts him in 24th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Andy Chilino, United States of America. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Cowie Gonsalves, stand by please. On the ice, Andy Chilino. He represents the United States of America. Start time, 4:72. That's a fast start time. He's currently 13/100ths ahead of the pace as he comes out of curve 4. See if he can hold on to all that speed as he enters curve 6. He's fallen back now. He's neck and neck with Nicholas Timmings. Our current leader, he had a 49.20 That is the time to beat, and the current pace, Andy Cialino, he's quarter second behind that pace out of curve 11. His top speed was 80.3 miles an hour. Now coming through Dinger, where's that going to put him in the standings? He's back 7/10 now out of 14, dropping both feet through low point, trying to keep it straight up into 15. He crosses the finish line with a 50.15 seconds. Puts him in 14th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Cauê Gonçalves, Brazil.
Track from the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Dion Charles, stand by please. Representing Brazil, Cauê Gonçalves on the ice. Start time, 5.17 seconds. As he heads through curve 2, 3. Little brush out of curve 3, sliders right. Currently behind the pace, 0.8 of a second. As he makes his way through 5, now into snowy, curve 6. Good line coming out of curve 7, 78.7 miles an hour. He's going to have to find some speed in the lower loop. It can happen. It can happen. Here he comes out of curve 11. A little late out of 11. He brushes the wall, sliders left, puts him high up into 12. He's got both feet on the ice, trying to steer himself into curve 14. Getting sideways through low point, 72.1 miles an hour. He's going to cross the finish line with a 52.50. 52.50. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Dion Charles, Canada. Sled in track from the skeleton start. RJ10, stand by please. Dion Charles, representing Canada on the ice, had a little bit of trouble on the ramp, popped a groove. That's when the sled comes out of the groove. It definitely does not help your downtime. Dion Charles, start time was a 5.34, probably coming down into the labyrinth, 78.5 miles an hour. He's got a good line through the 10-11 straightaway, keeping it straight out of 11. Little late, staying high up on that wall out of 11. 2 seconds behind the pace. Where's that going to put him in the standings? Coming out of 14, he's going 72 miles an hour. Going to cross the finish line, 52.11, 52.11, 27th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for RJ10, United States of America. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Braden Puslesny, stand by please. On the ice, representing the USA, RJ10, start time 4.68. 4.68, that is one of these fastest start times we've seen so far for Heat 1, men's skeleton race number 4. Having a hard time holding on to that lead as he comes through curve 6, a little high out of 6, 79 miles an hour. He's back now 35 hundredths through curve 11. Just not quite as much speed as he needs as he enters that lower loop. Good line out of 1477.3 miles an hour. Going to cross the finish line with a 50.16 seconds. That puts him in 15th position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Braden Pozlesny, Canada. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 1, Braden Pozlesny of Canada. Start time, 4:65. That is the fastest start time for Heat 1. Braden Pozlesny, that put him ahead of the pace by 0.2 of a second, but he had a little bit of trouble out of curve 4. Now coming out of curve 7 at 78 miles an hour. 0.3 behind the pace through that 10-11 straightaway. Gonna need to find some speed in the lower loop. He brushes sliders left out of curve 11. It's under control by 12 and 13. Good line out of 13. He's back just over a second and a half. 71 miles an hour out of curve 14. Gonna cross the finish line with a 51.48. 51.48. That puts him in 27th position at this time. Man's name again. Let's recap after the first heat. Your unofficial top 5 in 5th. We've got Joseph Brusick of Canada. He had a 49.56. In 4th, Linwei Peng of Chinese Taipei, 49.52. In 3rd, Jared Firestone of Israel with a 49.49. In 2nd, Lucas Defiet of France with a 49.31. And your leader after the first heat, Nicholas Timmings of Australia with a 49.20. 49.20. Just under 10 minutes, 10-minute warning to our forerunner sled before the women's Heat 1. Just under 10 minutes, 10-minute warning.
5-minute warning, approximate 5-minute warning to our first and only forerunner. 5-minute warning. Two-minute warning to our first and only forerunner. 2-minute warning.
Thank you very much, Terry. Thank you very much, Ryan. Here we go. It's Women's Skeleton, North America's Cup, race number 4. Heat number 1 for the women. 20 sleds in the field. All 20 sleds, without complications, should have an opportunity to take a run number 2. We've got Colombia, Korea, Republic of South Africa, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Ireland, USA, Malta. We got all kinds of countries racing. That's what makes the North America's Cup so entertaining. Race number 4, just minutes away from our forerunner. The track is clear at the skeleton start for first and only forerunner. Sled and track from the skeleton start. We have only one forerunner to negotiate 1,334 meters of ice. 5-minute warning for the first competitive sled. 5-minute warning for the first competitive sled for Laura Vargas, Colombia. Lots of excitement here at the Utah Olympic Park this Saturday 19th Winter Olympic Games. This is heat 1 of the 2 competitive runs. Attention at the start, 2-minute warning for our first competitive sled. 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning at the start for Laura Vargas, Colombia. Okay, here we go for our first competitive sled for the Women's Skeleton North America's Cup, race number 4. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Laura Vargas, Colombia. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Sliding for Korea, Hong Soo-jong. Please stand by. Push time for our first competitive sled of 5:46 as she slides out of curve 1 into curve 2. 20 sleds in the field. Deep entrance into 3. Doesn't seem to affect the line coming into 4. That's Sunny, now Cutthroat, coming into 6. This is where the speed trap, one of 2 speed traps we'll be using this morning. She exits curve 6 into curve 7 with her speed of 79.6 miles an hour. Dropping through the Wasatch Fault, that's that straightaway. Out of the exit of curve 10, coming into curve 11, sliding into the Olympic corner. Out of the Olympic corner into 13, named after the great one, David Dinger. Slingshot, that's 14 underneath the old frame of the scoreboard. Now the Shady Thicket. Into Uinta, crossing the finish line for her first competitive sled. She's sliding for Team Columbia. That's the first sled of the Women's Skeleton North America's Cup, race number 4, heat number 1, with the finish time of 51.86. The track is clear at the skeleton start for competitor number 2, sliding for Korea, Hong Soo-young. Sudden track from the skeleton start. As Ryan had mentioned earlier, there's no rule that says when the athletes must load their sled. The key is to be in first place entering that first corner. A good push time is sub 5:20. The ballistic push time would be around a 5:10. Her push time for run number 1, needless to say, is pretty quick at 5.10. That's going to be a very, very high mark to beat. Please stand by at the start. Your winner of yesterday's competition, race number 3, sliding for the Republic of South Africa, Nicole Berger. Sliding out of curve 13. Now taking that short straightaway, dragging that left foot, setting herself up to curve 14. Speed as she exits 14. It's 75 miles an hour. And underneath the delicate arch, all the way up the outrun. No brakes on these sleds, so they collect those memory foam pads as the track crew helps them out. For the finish time of 51.22. 51.20. 51.22. The track is clear at the skeleton start for slider number 3 for Nicole Berger, Republic, South Africa. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Kelly Delka, Puerto Rico, standby. 5:06 push. Hey, Ryan, Terry, 5:06 push. That's the quickest one we've seen in a long time, especially all through training. She won yesterday's competition, sliding for RSA, Republic of South Africa. Nicole Berger's on the ice right now. What kind of speed will she post? Will she break the 80-mile-an-hour mark? Let's call it 80. It's 79.95. Right down the middle through the Wasatch Fault, coming to curve 11. Intermediate times are 32.57. She's currently in the lead by 1800ths of a second. Out of 12, the Olympic corner. Dinger, that's 13. Still in the lead by 0.2 of a second. Down the long straightaway through the Shady Thicket, climbing up into Uinta underneath the delicate arch. We've got a new leader by 2300ths of a second. 50.99. 50.99. Solid downtime. Good speed. Most impressive, that push at a 5:06. Great job, Austin Carter. The track is cleared. The skeleton start for Kelly Delka, Puerto Rico. Sled track from the skeleton start. Katie Tannenbaum, Virgin Islands, standby. Kelly Delka with a strong performance yesterday in race number 3, posting a push time of 5.19, sliding out of 2 into 3, out of 3 into 4. Through Cutthroat. Nice left to center as she enters into snowy curve 6. What kind of speed? 80.6. 80.6. So she was quicker through curve 6 than your current leader, Nicole Berger from Republic of South Africa. But she's back by a tenth of a second. This is going to be close as she works her way down the final corners out of 13 into 14. She's back by only 9/100ths of a second. Now at a 10. Now it's 3/100ths of a second. Dropping through the shady thicket. Still 3/100ths coming up. First place by 5/100ths. Oh, we got some racing here this beautiful late Saturday morning. 50.94 is the finish time. She did break the 80-mile-an-hour mark with the 80.6 to be exact. That's the fastest sled we've seen so far in the field of 20. 50.94. Slotting for Team Puerto Rico. We've got a new leader. The track is clear at the Skeleton Start for Katie Tannenbaum, Virgin Islands. Sudden track from the Skeleton Start. Come on, folks, if you're up top, cheer these athletes on. Once they get the green light, they've got to bust that off the push block, break that red light, the red line at the start, 15 meters off the block before the clock strikes 0. So at that time, put your hands together, ring the bells if you're packing them, cheer these athletes on. Katie Tannenbaum from Virgin Islands is on the track right now at a curve 6, 79 miles an hour, not matching the speed of Kelly Delka. 28, now it's 32/100ths of a second back. Right up to down the middle into an early entrance into 11, out of 11 into curve 12, the Olympic corner. Home track right here. This is her home track. She's going to be 6/10ths back out of 14 into 15. It is 6/10ths. It's going to grow even more as she climbs up through 15. 63/100ths of a second puts her unofficially in the 4th spot with a finish time of 51:57. 5:26 push time. 51:57. The track is clear at the Skeleton Start for Ari Roland Evans from Ireland.
Sled and track from the Skeleton Start.
Sled and track from the Skeleton Start. Gracie Otto from the United States of America standby. 5:13 push, a strong push. The athletes have a choice to use the left drive line or the right drive line. Some use the right arm to push the sled or the left arm. These are just things you keep an eye on. Once again, cheer these athletes on as they're pushing those sleds down that 50-meter ramp. 5:13 was the start time. She's back by only 100th of a, now it's 500ths of a second. Sliding for Team Ireland. For her to slip into the top 3, she needs to be faster than a 51:22. 3,500ths of a second back out of 13 into 14. Still 3,500ths of a second, sliding through the shady thicket, brushing sliders left, now right, going into 15. That's something to be 1,500ths right there. 5th spot by 81/100ths of a second. So a quick recap that she was coming out of curve 14. She brushed sliders left, the back end of the sled broke free, hit sliders right, that cost her a few tenths. As a result of that, unofficially puts her in the 5th spot with the 51:75. The track is clear at the Skeleton Start for Gracie Otto from the United States of America. Sudden track from the Skeleton Start. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it? 5:27. 5:27 start. Sliding into corner number 1. Home track advantage. Let's see if it plays out here. A low line through 3, just right of center coming into 4. back by 12 hundredths of a second. Out of Cutthroat. Coming into Snowy. Will she break the 80-mile-an-hour mark? 80.04, 80 miles an hour. If she can keep this speed down through the labyrinth, approaching 11 and 12, the Olympic corner, she might have a chance to slip into the top 3. That magical time is a 51.22 to break into the top 3. She's at a 13 in the curve 14. Intermediate times have her back by less than 0.4 of a second. Now it's up to 58 hundredths. She will slip into the top 5, coming up, and across the finish line for her first run in 5th place unofficially with the 51.65. She'll be pleased with that start. Not quite as quick as she'd like, but still 5:27. Strong start. Top speed, though, over 80 miles an hour. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Shannon Gallia from Malta. Sliding track from the skeleton start. Standing by at the start, sliding for the United States of America, Lisa Baker stand by at the start. Shannon's push time down the ramp is a 5.38. Little early in the Cutthroat, dropping out. Oh, dancing on one runner. That's not easy to do on a skeleton sled when you're so close to the ice. Had a little trouble in 5, sliding through 6, 7, 8, approaching 9 out of 10. Hitting that first pressure and driving hard to keep that sled from climbing too high in the corner. Out of the Olympic corner. Now 13, 14. Let's see how she executes that straightaway. Right up the middle. And across the finish line for run number 1 with the 52.80. 8th spot. 52.80. She collects the pads. Thanks for the track crew and the volunteers at the bottom helping us out. That was Shannon Gallia from Malta. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Lisa Baker from the United States of America. Sliding track from the skeleton start. Hannah Rushworm from Finland standby. Sliding in the corner number 1 to 5:23 push time. Puts her back by 4/100ths of a second. She was on the podium yesterday. Can she duplicate that achievement, finishing second in the run, the race number 3 on Friday here at the Utah Olympic Park? She's only back by 11/100ths of a second. Can she break the 80-mile-an-hour mark? 79.94. That's still solid speed. 1600s behind, 1600s behind. This is where her expertise starts to play out. Through 11, 12, and 13. Now 13, now 14, 2/10 back, 2/10 back. Will she get into the top 5? She needs to be faster than a 51.22 to be unofficially in the 3rd spot, crossing the finish line, 51.13. Puts her in that 3rd spot right now with the 51.13, 5:23 push time. Lisa Baker from the United States. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Hannah Rushworm from Finland. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Please stand by at the skeleton start. Emily Bateman from Canada. 5:20 push time. Only 9, now it's 12/100ths of a second. Lisa Baker sitting unofficially in that number 3 spot with the 51.13. Kelly Delka, still your leader, sliding for Team Puerto Rico with that 50.94. She's your leader. On the track right now, sliding for Finland is Hannah. Hannah's 4/10 behind, sliding at a 12 into curve 13. These athletes will have a reverse order by rank, so your fastest sleds will be the final sleds for run number 2. Our finish curve climbs up just over 60 feet in elevation as she slides underneath the delicate arch. Back by 91 hundredths of a second. Finish time 51.85. 51.85. We're halfway through the field for run number 1. The track is clear at the skeleton start once again for Emily Bateman from Canada. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Sled and track from the skeleton start down the 50-meter ramp, sliding in the corner number 1 with the 520 push. Please stand by, sliding for Team Korea, Kim Yerim. Emily Bateman, 500s, only 500s. Nice early entrance into Cutthroat. Picking up speed, coming through curve 6. Only 8 100s. Did she break 80? 79.5. That's a little quicker than Liesl Baker, who's sitting in the number 3 spot. Kelly Delka was over 80 miles an hour, your current leader, coming through curve 6. She's still back by just over 2/10 of a second. At a 12, now 13. There's 15 corners here at the track, the 19th Winter Olympic Games Olympic track. The same track we'll be using in 2034. As Emily Bateman comes up and crosses the finish line for run number 1, puts her in 6th spot, 51.61. 51.61. The sport of bobsled and skeleton are measured to the 100th of a second, where the sport of luge is measured to the thousandths of a second. The track is cleared. The skeleton start for Kim Yerim, Korea. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Standing by at the start, also sliding for Team Canada, is Julia Hamilton. Push time of 5:24. Coming out of curve 4 into curve 5. Takes a little peek, keeps that chin close to the eyes, trying to be as aerodynamic as possible. If they raise their shoulders up off the front of the sled, it changes the weight distribution, and the sled begins to lose control. They drive with their shoulders and their thighs. Occasionally, you'll see them tap their toes on the ice to set themselves up for a proper entrance of the corner. As she comes out of curve 12 into curve 13, half a second behind. If she wants to get into the top 5, slip ahead of Katie Tannenbaum from the Virgin Islands, she needs to be faster than a 51.57, 50, 51, 51.71, 51.71. So it puts her unofficially in the 8th position. Start time was a 5:24. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Julia Hamilton from Canada. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Ana Torres Quevedo from Spain, please stand by. Julia Hamilton, 5:40 push time. 5:40 push time. So let's put this in perspective. A 5:40 push time where the fastest athletes have been pushing a 5:06, a 5:10, a 5:19. So to give up 3/10 of a second up at the start before entering corner number 1 makes it very difficult to gain speed and surpass that starting position. The idea is to be in first place going to that first corner and hang on with that body position, reaching speeds of over 80 miles an hour. She's going 78 miles an hour. She'll be about a second 1.5 behind when she crosses the finish line. This is Julia Hamilton from Canada out of 13 into curve 14. Now crossing the finish line as she climbs up through 15. Finish time is a 52.50, 1.56 seconds, 52.50. And she works her way up the outrun. 20 sleds in the field. That was sled number 13 in heat number 1 for the Women's Skeleton North America Cup, race 4. The track is cleared. The skeleton start for Ana Torres Quevedo from Spain. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Indy Dorshid from Canada, stand by. Here comes Ana Torres Quevedo from Spain. 5:41 push. Getting valuable race experience. More track time, the better for these athletes. Many just fresh to the sport of skeleton, which was introduced, I should say reintroduced in the Olympic Games in 2002. Both men and women being competitive in the 2002 Winter Olympic Games. Where Tristan Gale won the gold back in 2002 for the women. Sliding out of curve 11. Early entrance into 12, striking that slider's left. Negotiating 13-14. For her to slip into the top 10, she's got to break that 51.8. 52.06 in 12th position. 5:41 push, 52.06. Not a bad performance with a 5:41 push. The track is cleared to skeleton start for Indy Dorshid from Canada. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Grace Defoe from Canada, stand by. 5:48 push time. If you're just joining us here at the Utah Olympic Park, a great place to watch these sleds come down at flight speed is curve 12, the Olympic corner. Just work your way up over the crest. Stay to the right where the shades are up and open. Just a reminder, don't climb on the fence or lean over the fence. And enjoy the competition. This is heat number 1 of the Women's Skeleton North America's Cup. We've got countries being represented all over the world. Colombia, Republic of South Africa, Malta, Ireland, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands. We're racing here at the UOP. Indy's coming up through 15. Her finish time. Ooh, the back end of that sled breaking free a little bit. That's valuable time. She climbs up and goes underneath the delicate arch with a 53.27. The track is cleared to skeleton start for competitor number 16, Grace Defoe from Canada. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Smooth load. That's where they're jumping on the sled. Coming into curve for number 1. Corner number 1 with a push time of 5:22. Now 2 into 3. Just a quick tap of that right toe. Coming out of curve 4 into curve 5. Curve 5 into 6. She's got a decent run going. I'm going to guess around 78.9, 79.8 miles an hour, 79.9. Decent speed. Little early into 11. Watch the exit of 11 into 12. Coming through the Olympic corner. Intermediate times have her behind by 25 hundredths of a second. Now 14. That slingshot, through slingshot, down to the shady thicket. Looking up at the finish. And crossing the finish line with the 51.29, unofficially in the 5th position, behind by only 35 hundredths of a second, puts her unofficially in the 5th position. The track is cleared. The skeleton start for Emily Maria McDonald, Spain. Southern track from the skeleton start. Madeline Parra from Canada, stand by. Only 4 sleds remaining in heat number 1, and this is the first of the 4 sleds. Her push time of 5:32. Out of 4 and a 5. One of the cleaner lines we've seen through that exit of 4 and 5 and 6. Speed 77.2 miles an hour. Not the momentum or the speed she was looking for, but most importantly is great race experience. More track time, the better. More tracks you can visit, because each and every track is different. A lot of these athletes just came back from Whistler, the site of the 2010 Winter Olympic Games. Out of 14, a little bit of trouble there as the back end of that sled breaks free. She'll have a chance to take that second run with the 54.65. She comes up all the way up to the finish with only 3 sleds remaining to complete run number 1. And we'll have a very brief break before we start the second and final heat for the men's competition. The track is cleared. The skeleton start from Madeline Parra from Canada. Southern track from the skeleton start. Only 3 sleds to go. The first of the 3s on the ice. Madeline Parra from Canada. Push time 5:50. Giving up nearly 4/10 of a second before she slides into corner number 1 makes it very difficult to break into that top 10. She's behind by 52 hundredths of a second, so that gap or that deficit that she had going into corner number 1 is still holding. Will she break the 79 mile an hour mark? 77.5, 77.4. Still crazy fast. Bit of a back end break free. She's coming through curve 11. Early entrance into 12, striking the bunk of the side of the sled. 13 into 14. 14 now through the shady thicket. Lonnie Hookey from the United States of America, please stand by. And she slides underneath the delicate arch with the 53.28. The track is cleared. The skeleton start for Lonnie Heta for the United States of America. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Our second to final sled for run number 1 with Logan Woody from the United States standing by. 5:25 push. For her to get into the top 5, to slip ahead of the Canadian slider Gracie Defoe, it has to be quicker than a 51.29. Beautiful transition from 5 into 6. Through the exit of curve 6 is where the speed trap is, where the men were over 80 miles an hour. Only our current leader, unofficially, Kelly Delka, broke that 80-mile-an-hour mark. Think about that, 80 miles an hour down an ice track, driving with your shoulders and your thighs, occasionally using your toes, even your hands for leverage, with your chin 2 inches off the ice. The sport of skeleton. Our final sled for run number, for Lonnie as she crosses the finish line is at 52.38. Our final sled is standing by at the start. One more sled standing by at the start. Track is cleared to skeleton start for Logan Woody from the United States of America. Center track from the skeleton start. This is our final sled for heat number 1. Push time is a 5.40. So the format is for run number 2. It's reverse order by rank. So your leaders after run number 1 will be the final sleds for run number 2. Both runs count. As our final competitor right now, Logan is working her way through the upper section of the track. Out of 8, 9, now 10. Through the exit of 11 into curve 12, our signature corner here at the Utah Olympic Park. She's back by 71 hundredths of a second. Ooh, feet kind of flailing around a little bit at the exit of curve 12. Now 14 coming into curve 15. Crossing the finish line, a final sled for run number 1 with the 52.22. 52.22. So, a quick recap. In 5th place, Grace Defoe from Canada, unofficially sitting with a 51.29. Sliding for Korea, Hong Yo-song, with the finish time of 51.23. Lisa Baker from the United States of America sits unofficially in the 3rd spot with the 51.13. Nicole Berger from the Republic of South Africa with a 50.99 unofficially puts her in the 2nd spot. In sliding for Team Puerto Rico, your unofficial leader after run number 1, Kelly Delka with a 50.94, 500ths of a second lead over 2nd place Nicole Berger from the Republic of South Africa. That completes run number 1. The athletes will be transported back to the top. In the meantime, the men are preparing for their 2nd and final run. Enjoy your late morning, early afternoon. And it's women's skeleton. Heat number 1's been completed. Stand by for run number 2, the final run for the men's competition. It's the North America's Cup, race number 4.
Five-minute warning, approximate 5-minute warning to the first of 3 forerunners. 5-minute warning. Attention, coaches, athletes. The men's park from A is now closed. Two-minute warning to the first of 3 forerunners. 2-minute warning. One-minute warning to the first of 3 forerunners. 1-minute warning.
It's a 10-minute warning. 10-minute warning to our first competitive sled for men Heat 2. Track is now clear at the skeleton start for our first of 3 4-runner sleds.
Track from the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. That's our first of 3 4-runner sleds. Just pushing off the block up at the top. We're back to racing. Going to be heat number 2. Just under 10 minutes. Spectators, trackside, welcome out to the Utah Olympic Park. Couldn't pick a better day to have a race. Beautiful weather. We want to welcome you out here. Just a reminder, few safety points. No standing on, climbing over, or leaning under any fences or barricades that surround the track. If you're here to spectate, I recommend curve 12 at the top of the lower loop. The shades are all open in curve 12 for spectating. Those wooden decks and metal grates that surround the track are for coaches and athletes only. No spectators on the metal grates or wooden decks that surround the track. Most importantly, never enter the track surface for any reason. That's for your safety and the safety of our athletes. First 4-runner crossing the finish line. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for the second of 3 4-runner sleds. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Our second of 3 4-runner sleds takes to the ice. Just want to give a big shout out to our track crew. Takes a lot of effort to keep almost a mile of ice manicured and set for sliding. This is some world-class ice. Almost 60 miles of refrigeration pipe run through this track. And it takes a big track crew to keep it all slidable. Big shout out to those guys for keeping it clear. About 5 minutes out now, 5-minute warning for our first competitive sled. That is going to be Oren Milstein of Israel, 5-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for our third and final 4-runner sled. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Our final 4-runner takes to the ice. Final forerunner crossing the finish line. Two-minute warning to our first competitive sled. That's going to be Oren Milstein of Israel. 2-minute warning. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Oren Milstein, Israel. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Tony Fernals, stand by please. We are back to racing with men's Heat 2. The top 25 sleds from Heat 1 will race reverse order by rank. So our fastest sleds from the first heat will race at the end of the second heat. We should see a lot of leader changes, and it's combined downtime between heats 1 and 2. This combined downtime is going to decide the winner for today's race. First on the ice, Oren Milstein representing Israel. His start time was a 5.06 seconds. Last run he did a 51.48. He's looking to beat that as he comes out of Dinger, 13. Top speed was 79.1 miles an hour. Now sliding through low point. Going to cross the finish line with a 51.72. 51.72. Combined downtime 1 minute, 4.296. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Tony Fernals, United States of America.
Slow to track. skeleton start.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Massimo Artisoni, stand by please. On the ice, sled 2, we've got Tony Fernals, start time, 4.85 seconds. He needs a 51.77 to hold on to his position and not drop any spots. Last round he did a 51.19. Now coming out of curve 6, snowy. Top speed's going to be 79.2 miles an hour and 0.3 ahead of the pace as he enters curve 11, headed to the lower loop. Nice line out of 11, 35 hundredths ahead of the pace. Got 25 sleds for this heat 2, 25 sleds. Number 2, Tony Fernals crossing the finish line. It's going to be a 51.14, 51.14. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 4.233. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Massimo Artisoni of Canada.
Sled and track from the
Sled and track from the skeleton start. A Quasi Frimpong, stand by please. On the ice, representing Canada, Massimo Artisoni, start time 4.73 seconds. It's a fast start time. Let's see if he can hold on to all that speed through 1, 2, 3, 4. He's currently 27 hundredths ahead of the pace. He needs a 51.24 to hold on to his spot. Last run he did a 51.09. A 51.09. Currently about 2/10 ahead of the pace as he heads through the 10-11 straightaway, 78.4 miles an hour. Hopefully that's enough speed to hold on to his position. His lead's only 8 hundredths now. Ooh, he drops his foot out of curve 13. He's fallen back now, 22 hundredths. Scraping that sliders left through low point. Get across the finish line with a 51.85. That drops him back one position. He's in the second position at this time. Combined downtime 1 minute, 4.294. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for a Quasi Frimpong, Ghana. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Kevin Heng Lee, stand by please. On the ice, we've got a Quasi Frimpong representing Ghana. Start time 4.91. Slight tap at a curve 1. Last run, he did a 59.8. He's looking to get a 51.35 to hold on to his position. He's ahead of that pace by 16 hundredths of a second. Into the labyrinth, 78, call it 79 miles an hour, 79 miles an hour, 15 hundredths ahead of the pace. Takes nerves of steel to take one of these skeleton sleds down the track, head first, nearly 80 miles an hour. A Quasi Frimpong exiting curve 14. Get across the finish line with a 51.35. 51.35. Combined downtime 1 minute, 4.233. It's our current leader, a Quasi Frimpong. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Kevin Heng Lee, Chinese Taipei.
skeleton start.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Sam Allred, stand by please. 25 sleds for Heat 2, reverse order by rank. Kevin Heng Lee in the track representing Chinese Taipei. Start time 4:81. 4:81. About 0.8 of a second ahead of the pace as he exits curve 6. Good line into the labyrinth, 80.2 miles an hour. Good exit out of curve 12, 1 second ahead of the pace. He's still holding on to some serious speed out of curve 14, 72 miles an hour. Get across the finish line with a 50.82 seconds, 50.82 seconds. Combined downtime 1 minute, 4:1:41. Got a new leader. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sam Allred, United States of America. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Adrian Rodriguez, stand by please. On the ice, representing the United States of America, we have Sam Allred. Start time, 4:78. 4:78, that's the fastest start time we've seen so far in Heat 2. He's got to hold on to that speed through the labyrinth. He's currently behind the pace 200ths. Let's see if he can find some speed, 80.3 miles an hour. He needs a 50.86 to hold on to his position, not drop any spots. He's currently ahead of that pace by 400ths. 400ths coming out of curve 12. Good line out of 14. We'll see if it's enough to take over that top spot. 50.58 seconds. Combined downtime 1 minute, 4:1:13. New leader, Sam Allred, United States of America. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Adrian Rodriguez, España. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Sebastian Rainier, stand by please. Representing Spain, Adrian Rodriguez on the ice. Start time 4:77. 4:77 as he makes his way through 1, 2, 3s ahead of the pace by 0.17 of a second. Excellent exit out of curve 4. That's right where you want to be. Not too high, not too low. That is the fast line right in the middle. 80.3 miles an hour. Top speed as he goes through those labyrinth curves. 0.18 ahead of the pace coming out of curve 11 into the Olympic curve, curve 12. Now Dinger holding on to that lead. 0.18. Got to drop both feet out of 13 to get it through 14. Just dropped a little bit, 0.15 ahead of the pace. It's enough, crossing the finish line 50.60 seconds. Combined downtime 1 minute, 4:1:01. We got a new leader, Adrian Rodriguez. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Sebastian Rainier, Canada. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Song Young Min, stand by please. Representing Canada, we've got Sebastian Rainier on the ice. Start time 4:85. 4:85. As he heads through 1, 2, 3. Excellent line out of 3 into 4. He's 10 hundredths behind the pace. He needs a 56.1 to hold on to his position, not drop any spots. 1/10 behind that pace. 80.2 miles an hour into 11. Now 9 hundredths behind the pace. He's got to find some speed in the lower loop. Can he do it? 8 hundredths. 8 hundredths behind the pace as he heads out of curve 14. Top speed 73.8 miles an hour. 14 hundredths behind the pace now. Crossing the finish line. He's dropped 2 spots. 50.83 second downtime. Combined downtime 1 minute 4:1:23. That puts him in the 3rd position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Song Young-min, Korea.
Sled and track.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Eduardo Strapason, stand by please. On the ice, representing Korea, Song Young-min. Start time 4:68. 4:68. That is a ballistic start time. If you're up at the start watching these athletes, notice how their starts are explosive, but they've almost got to gracefully get on that sled when they come to the end of those grooves. Song Young-min on the ice, 79.7 miles an hour top speed. Not quite as much speed as he'd like to see as he enters that lower loop. He's still ahead of the pace by a 1/4 second, rubbing that wall sliders right at a curve 13. 3/10 ahead of the pace through low point, getting a little sideways up into 15. Barely getting it, 50.74 seconds. Combined downtime 1 minute 4:098. He takes the lead by 3 hundredths of a second. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Eduardo Strapason, Brazil.
From the skeleton.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. RJ10, stand by please. On the ice, representing Brazil, Eduardo Strapason. Start time 4:91. 4:91 puts him behind the pace 3/10 of a second. He needs a 50.77 downtime to hold on to his position and not drop any spots. 1/4 second behind that pace as he comes up to curve 7. Ooh, good speed, 81.1 miles an hour. Only 4 hundredths behind the pace. Into curve 11. Now 2 hundredths. He's ahead. 7 hundredths out of curve 12. Good line out of 13. Can he hold on to the speed out of 14? 77.3 miles an hour through the graveyard. Up through 15, crossing the finish line, 50.06 seconds. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 40.27. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for RJ10, United States of America.
sled and track
from the skeleton start. Andy Chilino, stand by please. On the ice, representing the United States of America, we have RJ10. Start time 4.66. 4.66. Fastest start time so far, Heat 2. RJ10, 48 hundredths ahead of the pace out of curve 6. Little late out of 6. Puts him into the wall before curve 7. That's going to affect his speed, which was 79.4 miles an hour. He's losing that lead a little bit. 23 hundredths ahead of the pace into the lower loop. Now only 8 hundredths out of curve 12. He's got to find some speed, dropping his toe out of curve 13. Now 5 hundredths behind the pace. He's going to drop at least a position. How far is he going to fall? 50.32. Drops one spot back to second at this time. RJ10 combined downtime 1 minute 40.48.
Start through the run out.
The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Andy Chilino, United States of America. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Baden Park, stand by please. Bringing down the 12th sled for Heat 2, we've got Andy Chilino, start time 4.70. 4.70, another really fast start time. 36 hundredths ahead of the pace as he makes his way through Snowy. Good line out of Snowy, 80.4 miles an hour, still about 0.3 of a second ahead of the pace. He needs a 51.2 to hold on to his position. Ooh, late out of 11. Is that going to affect him? Only a 10th ahead of the pace as he hugs sliders right into curve 14. That's going to send him deep into 14. 7 hundredths behind the pace now as he climbs Uinta, crossing the finish line with a 55.4. 55.4. He drops 2 positions with a combined downtime of 1 minute 40.69. 1 minute 40.69. That puts him in 3rd position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Baden Park, United States of America.
From the skeleton.
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Peter McCready's, stand by please. On the ice, this was the fastest athlete from the United States of America from Heat 1, Baden Park. Start time 4.98. He needs a 50.22 to hold on to his position, and he's only 3 hundredths ahead of that pace as he heads through Snowy. He's fallen back 5 hundredths now as he comes into the labyrinth at 79, call it 80 miles an hour. Coming out of curve 11, 16 hundredths behind the pace. He's got to find some speed in the lower loop. This track, this is Baden Park's home track. He's got hundreds and hundreds of runs on this track. Let's see if he can pull it out as he comes up through low point. Going to cross the finish line with a 50.56 seconds. Drops him 2 positions down to 3rd. Baden Park combined downtime 1 minute 40.61. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Peter McCready's, Australia. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Hayato Kawano, stand by please. On the ice, representing Australia, we've got Peter McCready's start time 4.86 seconds. He's ahead of the pace by 36 hundredths. He needs a 50.31 to hold on to his position. 50.31. 35 hundredths ahead of the pace at a curve 6. Top speed 80.6 miles an hour. He's got some serious momentum as he heads through the labyrinth. Good line out of 11, right where you want to be. As he comes through the Olympic curve, 16 hundredths ahead of the pace. What's the speed out of 14? 76.9 miles an hour. Still 14 hundredths ahead of the pace. As he crosses the finish line with a 50.16 seconds, we have a new leader, Peter McCready's Australia. Combined downtime 1 minute, 40.12. Track is now clear at the skeleton start for Hayato Kawano, Japan.
The skeleton.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Taido Nago, stand by please. On the ice, representing Japan, Hayato Kawano. Start time 4.81 seconds. As he comes through curve 6, he's 1/10 behind the pace with a top speed of 79.8 miles an hour. Got to find some speed as he enters the lower loop of the track. 2/10 behind the pace into curve 12. How far is he going to fall in the standings? 3/10 behind the pace out of 14, 76.2 miles an hour. He's climbing that final curve, going to cross the finish line 50.73 seconds. Drops back to 5th at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Taido Nagao.
From the skeleton start.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Shin Yonsu, stand by please. On the ice, representing Japan, Taido Nago. Start time 4.80. 4.80. Needs a 50.30 to keep his spot. Hold on to that top position. Last run did a 49.82. 49.82. Coming through the labyrinth now, 81 miles an hour. 81 miles an hour. Spectators, if you're just joining us, at the top of the lower loop, curve 12, we got all the shades open for spectating. Probably the best place to spectate, curve 12.
Stick your head inside.
Japanese athlete sliding through low point. Crossing the finish line with a 50.03, 50.03 seconds. Got a new leader. Combined downtime 1 minute 39.85. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Shin Yonsu, Korea. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Jonathan Yaw, stand by please. On the ice, bringing down sled 17, we've got Shin Yonsu of Korea. Start time 4.84. 4.84. He makes his way through 1, 2, 3. Excellent line through the 3-4 straightaway. Comes out of Cutthroat, curve 5, into Snowy. 11 hundredths ahead of the pace and a top speed of 79.4 miles an hour. Is that going to be enough to hold on to his spot? As he comes out of that 10-11 straightaway. He's got his head just 2 inches off the ice. Piloting that sled through Dinger 13. He's fallen back 300s. Let's see if he can find some speed on these final 2 curves. Going to cross the finish line with a 50.22. 50.22 combined downtime, 1 minute 39.94. Drops him 1 spot. He's in second position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Jonathan Yah, Malaysia. Sledding track from the skeleton start. Hiroatsu Takahashi, stand by please. Sliding for Malaysia, we've got Jonathan Yah in the track. Start time 4.82 seconds. He's currently ahead of the pace by 1/10 of a second. He needs a 50.13 to hold on to his position. Now 9 hundredths ahead of that pace. 81 miles an hour. As he heads right down the middle through the 10-11 straightaway. Beautiful exit out of 11. Now through the Olympic curve and into Dinger. Ooh, late exit out of Dinger. Sled up on 1 runner coming out of Dinger. He's 4 hundredths ahead of the pace, but that may have cost him. It did. He dropped 2 positions, 50.25 second downtime. Combined downtime 1 minute, 39.97. Back to third position at this time. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Hiroatsu Takahashi. Sledding track from the skeleton start. You, Chinook, stand by please. Representing Japan, Hiroatsu Takahashi. Start time 4.76. As he makes his way through 1, 2, 3. Beautiful line down the 3-4 straightaway and out of 4. Not too high, not too low, just right. 2/10 ahead of the pace at a curve 6. Top speed, 79.8 miles an hour. 16 hundredths ahead of the pace as he makes his way into curve 11. Now only 8 hundredths. He's fallen back. 6 hundredths ahead of the pace coming out of curve 12. Now 13. 4 hundredths, and he dropped a toe into 14. That's going to cost him a hundredth or two. As he climbs you into curve 15, he's going to cross the finish line with a 50.37. 50.37 seconds. Puts him back into fourth position with a combined downtime of 1 minute 40.09. 1 minute 40.09. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for you, Chinook, Korea.
Track, sled and track from
Sled and track from the skeleton start. Joseph Brusik, stand by please. On the ice, representing Korea, Yu Chenuk. Start time 4:70. Last run he did a 49.65, a 49.65. He needs a 50.20 to hold on to his position. He's a quarter second ahead of that pace coming out of Snowy. Good line through 781 miles an hour, quarter second ahead of the pace into the labyrinth. Good line through the 10-11 straightaway. Nice clean exit out of 11 into the Olympic curve. 32 hundredths ahead of the pace out of curve 14, 77.6 mile an hour top speed. Still holding on to a lot of momentum. Carries him up 15, crossing the finish line with a 49.84. We have a new leader. Yu Chenuk of Korea. Combined downtime 1 minute 39.49. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Joseph Brusik of Canada. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Lin Wei Peng, stand by please. Representing Canada, Joseph Brusik in the track. Start time 4:70, ballistic start time. Currently ahead of the pace by 15 hundredths of a second. He needs a 49.93 to hold on to his position. Last run he did a 49.56. Coming through the labyrinth, 80.7 miles an hour, 2/10 ahead of the pace into curve 11. Now only 15 hundredths ahead of the pace. Coming through Dinger. Dropping a toe out of Dinger. Let's see if that affects his downtime. Ooh, big hit out of 14. He's now 2/10 behind the pace. Going to cross the finish line with a 50.04 second. That drops him back one position to second. Joseph Brusik, combined downtime 1 minute 39.60. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Lin Wei Peng, Chinese Taipei.
track from the skeleton.
Sled in track from the skeleton start. Jared Firestone, stand by please. We're down to our final four sleds. Sled 22 in the track. That's Lin Wei Peng, Chinese Taipei. Start time 4:78. Needs a 49.97 to hold on to his position. 9 hundredths ahead of that pace out of curve 6. 80.5 mile an hour top speed through 7-8-9. Good line through the 10-11 straightaway. 3 hundredths ahead of the pace, but a late exit out of 11. Kicking that sled up onto one runner. That's going to drop him back now. 23 hundredths behind the pace. 76.5 mile an hour top speed out of 14. Ooh, late exit out of 15. Crosses the finish line with a 50.28 seconds. Puts him in third position with a combined downtime of 1 minute 39.80. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Jared Firestone, Israel.
Skeleton Sled in track from the skeleton start.
Lucas Defiet, stand by, please. On the ice, Jared Firestone representing Israel. Start time 4:74. 4:74. We're seeing lots of fast start times. Remember, the second heat is reverse order by rank. So our final 3 sleds now were the fastest sleds from heat 1. Jared Firestone, he needs a 50-second downtime, 50 seconds flat to hold on to his position, not drop a spot. Jared Firestone, 80.3 miles an hour, coming out of curve 11. He's 13 hundredths ahead of the pace. Now through Dinger, 13, drops a toe, he's dragging a toe into 14. Only 4 hundredths ahead of the pace as he climbs the final curve of the track, curve 15. Is it enough? Not quite enough. 50.01 by 1/100th of a second. He drops back 1 position. Jared Firestone, combined downtime 1 minute 3:9.50. Spectators, we do ask that nobody spectate on the wooden decks or metal grates that surround the track. No spectators on the wooden decks. Thank you. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Lucas Defiet of France. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Nicholas Timmings, stand by please. On the ice, Lucas Defiet. Start time was a 4:81, 2/10 ahead of the pace. He needs a 50.18 to hold on to his position, but he's looking to climb. He's looking to take that top spot. 3/10 ahead of the pace as he comes out of curve 6. Top speed 81.4 miles an hour. Now 4/10 ahead of the pace. Right down the middle through that long 10-11 straightaway. Excellent line through curve 11. 4/10 ahead of the pace as he comes out of the Olympic curve. Through Dinger, now slingshot, 14. Excellent exit out of 14. This is a beautiful run, 78.5 miles an hour. As he crosses the finish line, 49.65 seconds. 49.65. Combined downtime, 1 minute, 3:8.96. New leader, Lucas Defiet. The track is now clear at the skeleton start for Nicholas Timmings, Australia. Sled in track from the skeleton start. Bringing down the final sled for Heat 2, Nicholas Timmings of Australia. Nicholas Timmings had the fastest sled in Heat 1. He also won yesterday's race, race 3 for North America's Cup. He needs a 49.76 to take home that top spot. He's currently neck and neck with the current leader, Lucas Defiet. Now 2/100ths behind the pace. He needs some more speed as he enters the lower loop. 81.2 miles an hour coming through curve 11. He's 5/100ths behind the pace as he comes out of curve 13. Let's see if he can do it with these final 2 curves of the track. Out of 14, he hugs sliders left up through low point. 4/100ths behind the pace. Get across the finish line with a 49.81. 49.81. He drops back 1 position. Nicholas Timmings, combined downtime 1 minute 3:9.01. Let's recap our unofficial top 5 after 2 heats. In 5th, Joseph Brusik. He had a combined downtime of 1 minute 3:9.60. Joseph Brusik of Canada. In 4th, we've got Jared Firestone of Israel. Combined downtime was 1 minute 3:9.50. In third, Yu Chanuk of Korea with a combined downtime of 1 minute 39.49. Second, we've got Nicholas Timmings of Australia with a combined downtime of 1 minute 39.01. And in first, after 2 heats, Lucas Defayette of France with a combined downtime of 1 minute 38.96. About 3 minutes out from our forerunner. 3-minute warning to our forerunner sled before Heat 2 for the Women's North America Cup Race 4.
We're just a few minutes away before we kick off with our forerunner, before we start with the women's second and final heat, race number 4, the North American Cup. Women's skeleton event. This is the 4th race. Great job for all the men competitors in the skeleton event. It's going to be just as exciting. If you're looking for a great place to watch, you can work your way up to curve 12. All the corners are numbered. So the lowest corners are 14 and 15. So you just work your way up the hill a bit. Kind of stay to the right. Curve 12 is up and open. The track is clear once again at the skeleton start for our first and only forerunner. Sudden track for the skeleton start. Our forerunner sleds through the upper third of the track. Where else can you have a world-class event with 3 announcers, whether it's myself, Terry, Ryan? I mean, this is living. Top shelf. I'll get that phone. The women's park for May is now closed. We've been given the thumbs up. Thanks, Jeffrey. Attention at the start, a 2-minute warning, a 2-minute warning. Attention, the men in the skeleton field, all the men, male athletes, please remove your sleds from the Park for May area. The bobsleds will be coming in shortly, and you don't want to compromise your sled leaning up against the racks there. So all the men's sleds, if you could remove them and store them in an appropriate location, that would be ideal. The track is clear once again for Emily Maria McDonald from Spain. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Madeline Parra from Canada, stand by. We're racing once again, reverse order by rank, so your leaders will be the final sleds, not unlike what we just hosted here for the men. Great racing for the men. It'll be great racing for our women's event as well. 5:36 push time. Standing by at the start, sliding for Canada, is Madeline Parra. Please stand by. Emily Maria McDonald, sliding for Team Spain. Her first run was a 54.65. Both runs count. Sport of skeleton is measured to the 100th of a second. Beautiful run through the upper section, now the middle portion of the track. Right down the middle of the 13-14. Little trouble through the low point, the shady thicket, but no trouble. Coming up through curve 15, crosses the finish line with the 52.85. Great run for her, 52.85. Track is cleared. The skeleton start from Madeline Para from Canada. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Indy Dorshid from Canada to stand by. Start time 5:51. Sliding on a curve 4 into 5. Track is nearly 8/10 of a mile long, roughly 1,335 meters in length. 2 tracks in the States, here in upstate Lake Placid, New York, where they hosted the 1932 and 1980 Winter Olympic Games. They'll also be hosted last season the World Championships of Bobsled and Skeleton. Soon, in the next couple of weeks, they'll be hosting a Luge World Cup. These are very crucial events for these athletes to score valuable points to possibly have an opportunity to represent their nations in Milano Cortina 2026 this February. Track's clear at the skeleton start for Indy. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Shannon Galila from Malta, please stand by. Indy Dorshid with the 5:48 push time down that 50-meter ramp. As we get deeper into the field here, we'll start to see some position changes. Some of these athletes are only separated by hundredths of a second. For example, only 500ths of a second separate your fastest sled after run number 1 and run number 2. Kelly Delka is your leader after run number 1 with that beautiful run of 50.94. But Nicole Berger from the Republic of South Africa posted a 50.99, only 500ths of a second. So this is going to be a great second heat. On the track right now, sliding for Team Canada, Indy Dorshid. She crosses the finish line for her second and final run with a 53.78. Track is clear at the skeleton start for Shannon Galila from Malta. Southern track from the skeleton start. Julia Hamilton from Canada, stand by.
Track workers.
5:40 push time. Out of 4, sunny. Out of cutthroat, that's 5. Snowy is 6. Through the labyrinth corners. Down through the Wasatch Fault. Little 8 out of 11. Through 13, now 14, 2 corners to go. 79 miles an hour through exit of curve 6. She should move into lead without much trouble, and she does with the 52.17. So Shannon moves into the lead. 5:48, 53.78. 5:48 push, 53.78 downtime. The track is cleared to skeleton start for Julia Hamilton from Canada. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Laney Hayta from the United States of America, stand by. And she is coming out of curve 7. 78 miles an hour. She's in the lead by 0.12 of a second. Down to the Wasatch Fault coming into curve 11. She's still in the lead, but now it's only 0.08 of a second. Now it's only 1/100th of a second. She's going to fall back. She's going to fall back. It's going to be 1/10 of a second here. She comes out of curve 14. Now it's 1,700 to, brushing the sliders right and left coming into curve 15, Uinta. She drops a position with the 52.95. 52.95, 1 minute 45. 48 of a second, drops 8 position. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Laney Hayta from the United States of America.
Sudden track, sudden track.
Sudden track from the skeleton start. Logan Rudy, stand by. Start time 5:24. That's the quickest push we've seen so far, 5:24. But she brushed sliders right coming out of curve 1. So she exited just a bit early. The entrance of 4 and 5, smooth. Now into 6. Out of 6 into 7. This is the upper speed track. Speed trap here, it's 78.2 miles an hour. Currently in the lead by half a second. Through the Wasatch Fall into 11. Sliding into the Olympic corner. Through the Olympic corner, approaching curve 13, 33 of a second lead. 2 corners to go, still 33 of a second. Speed, 73 miles an hour through the lowest portion of the track, the shady thicket. She'll move into the lead by 24 of a second. Finish time 52:35, combined time 1:44.73. We'll see it over and over again, but we've got a new leader, 52:35. Track's clear at the skeleton start for Logan Rudy from the United States. Sudden track from the skeleton start. 25 meters down, 30, 40 now, 50 meters down the ramp with a 5.40. Ana Torres, Quevedo, España, stand by. At a cutthroat, coming into the speed trap. She's in the lead by 0.05 of a second. Speed 78 miles an hour. It's only 4/100ths of a second. Every slight mistake is going to cost her 100ths of a second here. Now she's back by 100th of a second. Now it's 8/100ths of a second. Back into that sled, breaking free just a bit out of 12 into 13. 14, now it's 0.2 of a second. A good line though, coming into Uinta, the finish curve. Crossing the finish line, dropping 2 positions with the 52.76. So Logan drops 2 spots, 52.76, unofficially in the 3rd spot. The track is cleared. The skeleton start for Ana Torres, Quevedo, España. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Laura Vargas, Colombia, please stand by. Start time 5.40. She needs to be quicker than a 52.67. 52.67 if she wants to move into the lead. Her first run was a 51.86. She's currently in the lead by 21 hundredths of a second. 78, 79, 79 miles an hour. 79 miles an hour. This is one of the faster sleds we've seen for heat number 2. Beautiful performance right down through the Wasatch Fault. As a result of that, she's still carrying that momentum from the upper portion of the track all the way through the mid-section, now approaching the final 2 corners. Her lead is increased to 58 hundredths of a second. Out of curve 14, just hugging sliders left, but not touching it. She's going to move into lead with a nice second run of 51.80. She moves into the lead by 87 hundredths of a second. Ana Torres Quevedo from España. 143.86. We've got a new leader. The track is clear to skeleton start for Laura Vargas from Colombia. Sliding track from the skeleton start. Vargas down the ramp. Push time is a 5:47. 51.86 was her first run time, 51.86. Please stand by Hanna Rushworm from Finland. Out of curve 4. Looks very comfortable. Good position on the sled. Coming into curve 6 and now out of curve 6. Speed 79.2. A little quicker than Anna, but she's back by 2 hundredths of a second. Sliding out of curve 11. Now 12. She's in the lead by 3 hundredths of a second. Oh, dragging that left foot coming into curve 14. Her lead might be, this is going to be close. She's back by 2 hundredths. I don't know if she's going to have enough speed crossing the finish line to move in the lead, and she doesn't. She drops back a position. Laura Vargas from Colombia with the 52.13. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Hanna Rushworm from Finland. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Irie Roland Evans from Ireland, stand by. Hanna Rushworm's push time, a 5:18. A 5:18. That's the quickest push we've seen so far. Her magic number to be moving into first is a 52, just call it 52 flat, 52.00. Right now she's in the lead by 53 hundredths of a second. Little late out of 7. Speed is 78.3. Not matching the fastest sleds. Let's see if she can hang on to this momentum. Coming out of 11 into curve 12. Good line out of 11 and 12. Now she's in the lead by only 25 hundredths of a second. Out of 13 into 14, it's still 25 hundredths of a second. 2 corners to go. Brushing once, brushing twice going. That's going to cost her 2 spots. Now she's in the lead by 4. Oh, she does drop 2 spots by 19 hundredths of a second. 52.20. 52.20 is the finish time. Top speed was 78.3 miles an hour. 144.05 is the combined time. Attention, attention. 15 minutes after the women's event, we'll have the awards at the finish dock area. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Irie Roland Evans from Ireland. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Kim Yerim from Korea, stand by. Speed at 78.5 miles an hour. She's currently in the lead by 68 hundredths of a second. We might see a leader change. It's not the speed we've seen in some of the fastest sleds. 55 hundredths of a second lead coming out of curve 11 and 12, out of 12 into 13. Still in the lead by 54 hundredths of a second. Let's see if she can nail that exit of 14 right up the middle into Uinta. A bit of a slide at the entrance. I think she has enough. Oh, she does by 11 hundredths of a second. 52 flat. 5200. We have a new leader. Combined time of 143.75. We've got a new leader. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Kim Yerim from Korea. Sudden track from the skeleton start, Gracie Otto from the United States of America, stand by. Push time, 5:28. Back by 14 hundredths of a second already. Can she break the 52-second mark? If she does, she'll move into the lead, but she's back by 17 hundredths of a second. Beautiful lines through 14, 15 coming in, correction, in 4, 5, and 6. Now it's only 12 hundredths of a second deficit behind. Now it's 9. She keeps piloting that sled like this. We're going to have a new leader right down the middle coming out of the exit of 10 into 11. She has moved into lead by 2 hundredths of a second. Now it's a tenth of a second, 17 hundredths of a second. We're going to have a new leader. Let's keep an eye on the exit of curve 14. She comes into the shady thicket. One slight correction, no trouble there. We got a new leader. 51.35, 51.35. 143.06 is the combined time. A new leader by nearly 7/10 of a second. Speed was 79.8. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Gracie Otto from the United States. Sudden track from the skeleton start. This is her home track. This is her home track. She needs to have a quick one. A 51, a 41 is the time to move into the lead. Her push time was a 5:24. A solid push for her. She's in the lead by 1/10 of a second. A late entrance in the 4, but this is her home track. She knows how to respond to that late entrance. Driving harder at the entrance of 4, letting it rise up and then bringing that sled down. A little early into 7. She's back by 6 hundredths of a second. Very difficult to reel that in. Good position on the sled coming through 11. Exit of 11, slight correction going into 12. She's going to drop a couple of places here, coming out of 13 into 14. brushing again. She's going to drop a couple of spots here. Gracie crosses the finish line, and she drops only one position with the 51.83. 51.83. So she does drop down one position. Gracie Alla from the United States. Her combined time is a 1:43.48. Once again, the awards will be 15 minutes after the women's competition at the finish dock area. The track is clear at the Skeleton Start for Emily Bateman from Canada. So on the track from the Skeleton Start, choosing to use the left drive line. Let's see if it pays out. Whoa, 517. 517, a little early in the 2. Oh, a big slide going into 3. Big slide going into 3. So that's going to scrub off that momentum she had going into corner number 1. She's back by 1100. Now it's 1700ths of a second. Her speed's going to be around 77, 78 miles an hour. Here it comes, 77.5. Through 9, 10, out of 10, down the Wasatch Fault. Half a second back. Smooth transition through the Olympic corner, now into 13, 13, 14. Sliding through the shady thicket, right up the middle into Uinta. It's going to be a couple spots, Ryan. I think it's a couple spots. She drops down to 5th position, 52.28. 52, 52.28, 143.89. She drops several spots unofficial in the 5th position. The track is clear at the Skeleton Start for Katie Tannenbaum, Virgin Islands. Southern track from the Skeleton Start. Posting a push time of 5:26. Another home track advantage here. She has 1800ths of a second lead. She needs a flawless run up top. She needs to be around 79.5 miles an hour. She wants to move into the lead. She has to be faster than a 51.49. Her first run was a 51.47. She's in the lead by 1500ths of a second through the labyrinth corners. Now it's only 1300ths of a second out of 11. The Olympic corner 12, it's only 8 100ths of a second. 5 100ths of a second. It's slowly slipping away. She's got to nail this exit at 14. Slight correction, a slide into 15. That might have moved her back a spot or two to second place. 51.66. She does drop a spot. 51.66. Kim, the Korean slider, still your leader. 51.66. 51.66. 4 sleds remaining. The track is clear for Hong Soo-young at the Skeleton Start, Korea. Sled track from the Skeleton Start. 4 sleds to go, the first of 4 on the ice. The Korean slider with a 5.0, Ryan, a 5.06 push time. 5.06 push time. 3/4 of a second lead already before she's got into curve 4. 5.06 push time. A slight tap with that right toe coming out of 5 into 6. 78.7 miles an hour. Not crazy fast, but the position on the sled is solid. Coming out of curve 10, brushing sliders left, going into curve 11 through the Wasatch Fault. She's still in the lead by 63. Now it's 55 hundredths of a second. Out of 12. into 13. Out of 13, that's Dinger. Tapping that toe, that left toe. She's still in the lead by half a second. It's all about, one brush, two brushes. Big slide coming into 15. Uh-oh, here it comes to second place. Oh, she had it by half a second. She brushed sliders right, sliders left, and that back end of the sled broke free coming into, you went to the finish curve, 51.89. Einen Fumsik, Neinen Oxik, 51.89. The track is cleared to go and start for Liesl Baker from the United States of America. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Here we go. Liesl Baker from the United States of America on the podium yesterday. Can she stay on the podium today? Slight brush coming a bit early out of curve 1 into curve 2. Good position on the sled coming into Snowy. That's 4. Nice lines through the exit of 4. Nice lines. A little early coming into curve 6. What's the speed going to be? What's the speed? 79.6. Very good speed. Very good speed through 6 and 7. Now the Wasatch Fault. Takes a little peek. Keeps that head close to the ice through the exit of curve 11. Early entrance into the Olympic corner, still in the lead by 63 hundredths of a second. Liesl Baker from United States of America sliding through curve 14. Right up the middle into curve 15. Right up the middle into curve 15. We're going to see a leader change. Leader change. 51.30. 51.30. Strong push for Liesl. 5:22. 51.30. New leader, Liesl Baker, new leader, 142.43, speed impressive, 79.6 miles an hour, high-fiving at the finish. Liesl Baker, your current leader. The track is clear at the skeleton start for Nicole Berger from Republic of South Africa. Sudden track from the skeleton start. Nicole Berger, she won yesterday's race. She's on the track right now. Only one slider remaining. That's Kelly Delka, your leader after run number 1, sliding for Puerto Rico. Start time, Ryan Terry heads up, a 5:04 start. 5:04 start, which means she's already 1800ths quicker than Liesl Baker, your current leader, going into corner number 1. But her lead's only 33 hundredths of a second, not matching the speed of Liesl. It's 78.6. Her lead is only 25 hundredths of a second through the exit of 11. Now coming into the Olympic corner, it's only 19 hundredths, 15 hundredths, coming into 13, into 14, dragging that left toe, coming into 14. This is going to be close. Hugging the, oh, this is going to be real close. A little touch into 15. Second place, 51.60. Liesl Baker still your leader. Liesl Baker still your leader, 51.60. 51.60 downtime for Nicole. Speed not matching Liesl's at 78.6. 142.59. Liesl Baker is still your leader with one sled to go. The track is clear. At the skeleton start for Kelly Delka, Puerto Rico. Sled and track from the skeleton start. Your leader after run number 1. She posted a 50.94. 50.94 was her time for run number 1. Her push time is a 5:16. 5:16 push time. She's in the lead by 3/10 of a second. She needs to be faster than the 51.49. Keep in mind that she did a 50.9. Now she's out of curve 5 coming into curve 6. Can she match the speed of Lisa Baker? Here it comes, 79, 80 miles an hour. This is a quick sled. Now coming through the Wasatch Fault. Beautiful line through the fault coming out of 11 into 12. No trouble there. Coming out of 12 into 13. No trouble there. Now 13, 14. You're going to see a position change. This might be your winner for race number 4 here at the Utah Olympic Park. Kelly Delka, Puerto Rico, does it. 51.04. Her first run was a 50.94. She just posted a 51.04. That's consistent. That's consistent. She puts her hands together. She realizes as she looked up at that finish clock that she is your unofficial winner. So unofficially, Hong from Korea in 5th place with a 1:43.11 combined time. In 4th place, Kim, also from Korea, with a 1:43.06. Sliding for the Republic of South Africa, Nicole Berger with a 1:42.59, unofficially in the 3rd spot. Lisa Baker from the United States of America unofficially finishes with the silver with a combined time of 1:42.43. And sliding for Team Puerto Rico, your unofficial winner for race number 4 here at the Utah Olympic Park, Kelly Delka, dominating fashion, posting that 50.94 for run 1. Consistency was the name of the game with the 51.04 for run number 2. The fastest sled coming down the track through the corner 6, our upper speed track, trapped at 80 miles an hour. 79.989 to be exact. Let's just call it 80. She was zooming. She kept that momentum, nailed the bottom half of the track. Kelly Delka, your unofficial winner. Combined time 141.56, correction, 141.98. She wins it. Congratulations to all the sliders. A reminder, in approximately 15 minutes, we'll have the men's and women's medals presentations at the finish dock area.
Attention, skeleton men athletes. We need the rest of your skeleton sleds moved out of the park for May for the bobsleds to be moved in.